It is going to be awesome. All Elite Wrestling coming to town, and there it is right there, the AEW Dynamite Collision that's going to happen tomorrow night at the Memorial Auditorium. As you can see, I'm super excited for this. This is going to be fun. And the guy that you saw doing all the action right there in the ring is now here, Danny Garcia.
What's up, y'all?
Good to see you, man.
It's good to see you, too.
This is great.
Too. You know, I'm not so high energy beating people up right now. I'm a little calm. We're in studio.
Yes.
Don't worry, you're not going to see none of that.
None of that. Thank goodness. That's why I'm on this side of the table. If he decides to jump this way, I'm running over there as fast as I possibly can. Danny, thanks for coming on the show. We got to get into this right away. First off, you know, what drew you to wrestling? Why do you want to be a wrestler? I mean, we were all kids watching it. I'm sure you did the same thing, but you took it to the next level.
You know, I was the kid watching it who didn't really know how to get into it. Like, my mom was always a big wrestling fan. She always had it on. So my mom is the reason why I got into this crazy, weird world of professional wrestling, you know. And I was just always a fan, and I started when I was 18 years old. I'm 26 now, so I've been doing this for about 8 years.
I love it, and being very successful at it. ESPN, I guess, labeled you as one of the top 30 wrestlers under 30.
Yeah. You know,
I
was a little lower on the list than I would have liked to be, but I got a couple years left to, you know, climb a little bit higher, I think.
All right. Well, I think you're doing pretty good, and we're watching some cage stuff right here. But you also have your belt, which is amazing. So your belt? So you're the champ right now, right?
I'm the champ. What can I say?
And what is the weight? Is there weight classes also in?
No, there's not a weight class. You know, I'll fight anybody for the size for the belt. I'll fight a kid, or I'll fight a 400-pound man. Or I'll fight Gary too.
I'm sure you'll fight me, right?
Could be anything.
And you'll still hang on to that. When you're practicing for this, like, how do you learn all the different moves? I mean, it's the real deal. People are watching this thinking, okay, this might not be as real. It's very real. I mean, you're whipping people to the ground. You got to be in great shape. All that stuff, right?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. It's a lot of training. It's a lot of dedication. It's a lot of, you know, time away from your family spent in a cold gym in 4 walls practicing what you do, so you can do it in front of, you know, thousands of people every single week, millions of people watching at home. It's a process. It's a process.
All right, we got to get into this too, because, you know, injuries happen. Most of the times you'd think they're happening to you in the ring, but no, you were in a pretty bad car accident.
Yeah.
Broke both your legs, but the wrestlers kind of, you know, rallied around you and got you out of it. Huh?
Yeah, it was great. I was in a car accident when I was I believe 20 years old at the time. It was 2021.
Yeah.
And it was before I signed to AEW. I was just an indie wrestler wrestling for no money in front of 50 people in bingo halls and stuff like that. And on a drive back home from Montreal, we hit some black ice. You know, I live in Buffalo, so it gets pretty snowy out there. We hit some black ice. We crashed into a guardrail, broke both my legs. But the wrestling community really, you know, rallied around me and, you know, made me feel like I was one of them.
That's
at a
awesome.
time where, you know, I really wasn't. So it was a blessing.
There you go. So you knew, hey, man, these guys are good guys. I kind of want to be a part of this.
100%.
This is something that's awesome. All right, this event that we're going to be, see coming up tomorrow at the Memorial Auditorium. Great venue to watch wrestling, any event just to check it out. What can we see when we're there?
Man, you are going to see the best professional wrestling in the world. You're going to see people who aren't just like the best athletes in wrestling, but people who are some of the best athletes that you've ever seen. People doing all kinds of crazy flips, people hitting each other as hard as they can. It's a style of wrestling that I think a lot of people aren't accustomed to, because AEW has a great mix of the old school wrestling that you grew up on, that you love, but also a mix of, you know, really like new school wrestling that can be entertaining to a new fan base.
Right. We're going to see people flying over the ropes, flames, fire. It's a big production, right?
It's an event. It's a whole live, fully immersive event. Like, every one of your senses will be felt when you're watching an AEW event.
That's what's fun, man. And even if you haven't been to one before, you're like, I'm not really into wrestling, go, because I guarantee you will be afterwards, and it's just about the experience.
Everybody's a wrestling fan when they're watching wrestling live. You can't convince me otherwise. If you show good wrestling to anybody, anybody will become a fan, and AEW isn't just good wrestling, it is the best wrestling on the planet.
I love it. All right, you're out there, you're performing also, not only are you performing by wrestling, but you also have some dance. You have a connection with Bad Bunny. Tell us what that's all about.
Yeah, I mean, I started doing a little dance a couple of years ago, and the crowd really became attached to it. And there we go. It's right there. It's beautiful. It's went viral a couple times, you know. And when I was growing up, wanting to be a serious professional wrestler, I never knew that this would be the thing that I'd become most known for. But it's crazy how the world works, and, you know, I'm very blessed. It's something that people attach to me now, and I'll be walking in the airport. I walked into an airplane the other day, and my flight attendant started doing it to me. So
I love it.
I think that's a better wrestling move than I could ever do.
You got to set yourself aside, right?
Exactly.
Set yourself apart so people can realize and see who you are. You need to, like, next opponent. Well, I mean, when you go up to these guys, you just start doing the dance. It kind of mesmerizes them.
Exactly.
You take them down.
It's a little bit of a mind game, and then people try to do it back to me, but none of my opponents can ever do it right. Nobody can do it like me. Nobody can.
Nobody. All right, we touched on it a little bit earlier in the beginning of this interview. How do you prepare? Because I know you said you prepare. It's like a lot of stuff. You're in between the four walls working hard. What are you doing? I mean, you're going through the different moves, but I mean, it's probably a lot.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to like training, like we travel every single week. I haven't been home since the 16th of February. So we're on the road a lot. So a lot of it can't just be, training and working on moves. A lot of it is mental preparation. A lot of it is just, staying centered, staying calm in your hotel room, praying, journaling, doing all that kind of stuff to really just make sure that when you're on the road, you're in a good mental space to, be calm. So when you have to go into some crazy high energy like this, you're prepared to do it.
I love it. And you've kind of teamed up with some of the big names too. Jericho, what's your connection with Jericho? I mean, he's one of the biggest in the business, right?
Yeah, man, Chris Jericho, he was one of my biggest mentors in wrestling. He's taught me so much. He's somebody who, really showed me, like, don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to throw a bunch of stuff at the wall to see what sticks.
Right. You got to do it. Wow. All right, we're going to be in for a packed, fun night at the auditorium.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be a blast. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
You got to go check this guy out. Daniel, thank you so much, man. AEW Dynamite and Collision going to be tomorrow night, March 5th. At 4:30, as I mentioned, that's where all the action is going to take place. If you haven't been to one of these things, you should. I mean, they used to do it. Daniel, I forgot to tell you that. They used to wrestle in this studio right here back in the 70s and 80s.
Amazing.
They really did. It's amazing. So wrestling's a big thing, and Sacktown absolutely loves it.